closer there.
Kevin, the 3-point shooting obviously in the first half, and then the defense on the guards in the second half. I mean, do you think those were sort of the twin things that kind of led to this outcome?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, I mean, going 14 for 22 in a conference game, good things are gonna happen. And I thought we actually played good defense in the first half. We had three, we had three big breakdowns, and they Odij hit 2 threes on them, and Berry hit a three on them, and we just watched film at halftime and just said, if we just don't, I mean, it was just mental breakdowns. It wasn't anything, and I thought we did a much better job towards the end of the shot clock of really kind of just being not losing two of the best guards in the conference.
What did you feel like you did well on Boo Buie today, trying to kind of force him to pass?
Well, I mean, I think he had such a monster game at Illinois. You know, we weren't trapping as much in the press, but we wanted to just kind of get the ball out of his hands early, make it hard for him to get it back, which I think we did. And I just think, they run so many dribble handoffs that we took away the dribble handoffs. And I think he's so good at them, and he's so good at turning the corner, going to his right. Without that in there, I thought that was part of the reason he struggled. He also played great the other night.
Coach, what's it mean to finish undefeated at home in conference play, and the crowd you guys had today, for the final game of the season, but not necessarily a traditional rival of Maryland's, I guess?
No, I mean, going 10-0 in this conference at home is, that's pretty impressive for this group. And I just think it shows you how great of a program this is, how great of a fan base it is. I think the fan base really got behind this group. I think they appreciated how hard they worked, how hard they play. And the students have really turned out and just kind of made this place. I mean, it's to be honest, I just sit back every once in a while and just watch, because it's a fun place to play and a fun place to watch a game.
Coach, especially with a
Did
senior.
you get a haircut?
Coach, with a senior heavy lineup, did you have any message to those guys to level out their emotions going into this game?
No, I mean, senior night for me at Seton Hall was a very emotional. I think I had 9 straight years where I had 3 to 4 seniors that had spent the whole time with me, and it was a really emotional night. And I don't think I've won a senior night game in forever, because it was just I kind of flipped it. It was kind of fun because these guys I've only been with them for a year, but they mean just the same amount. But it was I just told them this, like, I wanted to have fun. I'd never have fun on senior night. I'm like, I'm an emotional wreck, and that goes off onto my players. So the only thing I told them was I just wanted to have fun today. It was the last chance they're going to be in the building. I feel like I had my press conference 2 days ago. I can't believe we're already done with our home game. So I just wanted them to have fun, and I was going to have fun no matter what. If we got blown out by 20, I was going to enjoy the fact that this group has worked really hard, and I was going to be appreciative of what they've given us.
Thanks, Coach.
17 assists and 28 made baskets, only 7 turnovers against a team that defends as well as Northwestern this season. What was the key for you guys offensively?
I just thought I thought early in the first half, even though we gave up a lot of buckets, I just thought our tempo in the first half was really good. And I feel like our tempo is back to where it was, against St. Louis, against Miami, against Illinois. I just feel like our defense has enabled us to kind of get back to playing a lot faster than maybe December and January, where I thought we struggled a little bit. So,
Coach, where'd the idea come from to send the team into the student section after the game?
I've done it every year. I'm sorry for talking about Seton Hall, but I was there for 12 years.
Right.
We built one of the best student sections. I feel like we have the best student section now, and they've come out and they've supported us. It's a Sunday noon game, Just wanted to say thank you. I think it's very important to, these are student athletes, to say thank you to the people who are coming out and supporting them.
Is it something that you did when you were a player, or was it new to you?
No, I was a bad player. We never had people didn't want to shake my hand.
Coach, Don's obviously had an up and down season, struggled shooting from three for most of the season. But what does it say about him kind of just staying neutral that he's able to come out and have this shooting night?
Yeah, I mean, I think Don's he's been our silent leader just because of, although he struggled at times, he's brought the most professional attitude of any player I've ever coached. He stayed with the same attitude. He stayed with the same leadership. First guy out on the floor every day before practice, getting shots up. You know, I think Don realizes, like, he might not be the best one-on-one defender, but he's been our best team defender because he knows our schemes. He helps guys out on the floor. He's never in the wrong spot. So although he struggled offensively, he's been a huge part of what we've done defensively.
Coach, Jameer Young has been so good in one-on-one scenarios, attacking the basket and knocking down pull-up jumpers. How often as a coach do you kind of just scrap your offensive plays and just say, let's get the ball in this kid's hands?
I don't think you scrap your offensive plays, but you call a play that's going to give him a chance where his defender's not going to be able to lock in on him. Jameer's a heck of a player, but the guards in this league, and just about everybody does it. I mean, Penn State does it better than anybody. You just try to run stuff so that you can get your best player in a position to get him where offensively he can do what he does best. And that's a lot of what we have now is designed to get him, you know, doing what he does best and getting him downhill. I talked about, you know, I took a lot of plays out that, you know, had him going side to side. And we have everything we have now is designed to get him downhill. And then you just let his natural talent take over.
Hey, Kevin, your team's three best percentage performances from three-point have come in the last 10 days. What's changed between this past stretch and the early part of the season?
What was our other one?
Minnesota and the Purdue game, 45%, 53% in those games.
Yeah, I think
They shot their way into it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think our defense has created opportunities where we've been able to get easier shots. Like, I think we had 5 threes in transition today. So, you know, when you play at Wisconsin, you don't get a whole lot of transition threes. When you play at Purdue, you don't get a whole lot of transition opportunities. It's just not the way the league's designed. So at home, I think we've taken advantage of being aggressive on defense, even though it's led to some breakdowns. It's given us opportunities to get some easy threes in transition.
My favorite player, Scott, how was it coaching him for the last couple of years? Tell me.
For the last 9 months?
Yeah.
Don't give me another year.
I tried to slip that in there, but yeah.
Talk to my AD about another year. No, I love Dante. I've never had a player, and I've told him this, I've never had a player that has played as hard as he has. It's a little bit a detriment at times because he gasses himself out, but I've never had anyone that's play as hard as Dante Scott plays. Every possession, every game, I mean, he's like that in practice. So yeah. It's been a lot of fun.
Coach, you mentioned you're still pleased with the defense in the first half, but what kind of changed going into the second half where, you know, you don't allow more than 6 points from any Northwestern player, and they finished with 20 points in 20 minutes?
We really didn't change anything. We just, again, it was more breakdowns, and I think some of our breakdowns were emotional breakdowns. You know, Ian came in, and Ian's arguably our best defensive player, and he gave up 2 quick threes, which Ian doesn't really do. And again, I think it was just more Ian trying to get into the game. And I thought in the second half, I just thought we didn't do any of those things where everything we made them work. And I thought we made them work in the first half. I just thought Adij was really, really good.
Kevin, is there a way that you can bottle up what you've done at home and take it on the road to finish this regular season off on the right note?
Yeah, I mean, man, we've been close. I thought we've played pretty good on the road. We just haven't closed on the road. Had a chance to win at Purdue, had a chance to win at Wisconsin, had a chance to win at Nebraska. It's hard to win on the road, this conference. I mean, it's hard. And again, I think this group has gotten better on the road. For again, most of these guys are experiencing I mean, Nebraska, I said this, Nebraska was I think it was a 4 o'clock game, and they had 15,000 people, and they were 5-9 in conference. Like, that doesn't happen in any other conference. So I think we got to just do a little better job on the road. We got up 7. We took 2 quick shots against Nebraska. We cut it to 1 against Purdue. We took 2 quick shots against Purdue. I think they understand that at times you have to grind it out. You have to do a much better job on the road, grinding it out a little bit, slowing it down. And again, when we slow it down, it's really not how we're made.
Outside of just being on the road, how has this team grown in your first year being here? A lot of new pieces had to come in, some guys that stuck around. How has this team grown since, in November to where we are now at the end of February?
I think they've taken ownership of the team. I think they all have bought into each other. I think that's where they've grown the most, is they all know what they do well. They all trust each other very well. They understand what my system is now, so they don't think about that. They know they can just run around. But I think they've taken their own ownership, and I think that's why we've got 11 conference wins.
And to kind of touch on the senior day thing again, to have some of these guys in their last performances, what can you say about this senior class and what they were able to do, not just today, but this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is the guys we brought in, Don, Pat, obviously Jameer. My main goal when I brought those guys in is I wanted high character guys. I wanted guys that when people came and watched us play, watched us practice, when we brought recruits in, they took them out, that they were going to be, there was a culture that was set. I didn't want to go in and just try to win games. And like I've said, I'm in this for the long haul. And what those guys have done, Hawk, Dante, and those 3 guys, they have set the tone and they set the culture at a very, very high standard. And that was my goal. Are you just going to cut me off? Holy cow, you're finally wearing red, but I mean, go ahead.
Julian, a double-double. Talk about that.
12 points, 10 rebounds. That's a double-double. No, Juju, I say this every press conference, and everyone's getting me. I wouldn't take anybody else. Thanks, everybody. You're cutting me off again.
For maybe Jameer, what did you think offensively was working so well, and even just kind of going back the last few games, what do you feel like has been the difference for you guys?
Yeah, so early on today, we got the ball moving side to side, try to get them in scramble situations, try to get the ball in the post. We knew they were trapping, so being able to make good decisions out the trap and, attack long closeouts, I feel like that worked good for us early on.
And for any of you guys, the emotion of senior day, I mean, how do you navigate that? Do you try to not think about it or just work through it? How does that work?
Man, I would say we talked about it before the game. Just staying in the moment, really. Enjoying the moment, enjoying the crowd, enjoying Xfinity. You never really – we do that every game because you never know the next day you won't be playing. So really just soaking everything in and appreciating the moment.
I agree with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a moment that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. So just trying to take care of business, but also enjoy it and stay in the moment, like Don said. A great team coming in here, the most road wins on the road in Northwestern. So just trying to take care of business and, finish the year off strong when we were 10-0 in Big Ten play. So that was big for us.
Jameer, with the 16-point first half, I mean, coming out playing inspired, did you have any extra juice with senior day?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the crowd was into it. It helped us a little bit. And I feel like, just seeing your family on the side, all the people that came to support you, it just gives you a extra little and you just want to go out there and play even harder for them. So.
Question for Jameer and Donald. The way you guys defended their backcourt today, I think Bowie was held in check for most of the game on Deej in the second half. What was the approach? What was the execution?
Just to make them work, make everything tough for them. Those are 2 good basketball players, so we know they're going to hit shots and find their ways to score, but just make everything tough. Just stick with that game plan. They was hitting a lot of shots the first half, and we stayed with it second half, and, our defense has started to fall on them.
Yeah, just trying to make them take as many tough shots as they can. They're a talented backcourt, so they're good off ball screens. They're both good in ISO situations. So just trying to run them off the three-point line, but make them take tough twos, not letting them get all the way downhill with their right hand to the rim, but making them stop and shoot like 16, 17 footers. Just trying to make it tough any way we can. They've been rolling the last few games, so it was an emphasis for us to come in and impose our will on the defensive end.
Jameer, can you just talk about the out of bounds play with about 5 seconds left to end the first half? What was drawn up in the huddle for you, and just the emotions after hitting that big shot?
Actually, the play wasn't for me, but they did a good job taking care of our action on a sideline out of bounds, and nobody was really open. I saw it was like 3 seconds left, so I just had to create space, and I was feeling it from three early on, so just trying to get a shot up, a good shot.
Don, that three you hit in front of the bench, you kind of gave a kiss to the crowd. How rewarding has it been, just this culmination of this season, to be back home and play that type of game in your final game here at Xfinity?
It's really a bittersweet feeling, to be honest. But I just been sticking with it the whole time. But to do that on senior night is definitely something special. But more importantly, I just think about the crowd, man. Like, we got one of the best crowds in the country, so not being able to, play in front of them at home again is just tough. So I'm just blowing them a kiss, show them I appreciate them.
For Hakeem, obviously everything you've been through here at Maryland, 3 coaches in 4 years, to stick around this year to finish 10-0 at home, just how rewarding has this whole year been for you, as a senior now?
Overall, it's been very rewarding because, just like you said, going through all that, my years coming up, it's just been a lot. Now that we won it now, it just means a lot to me. And then we got the fans cheering us on, pushing us. So just got to keep going hard for them.
This question's for Jameer. 9 lead changes in the first half until you hit that buzzer beater at the end of the first half. Can you just talk about the momentum that gave y'all, even going into halftime and coming out?
Yeah, 9 lead changes. We knew it wasn't going to be, a walkthrough or anything like that. They're a great team, so we knew it was going to be a battle. It was going to be a dogfight. So I feel like that momentum swing, it was big just for us to be up at half and just to go in the second half, with the utmost amount of confidence that we can win the game. So I feel like the momentum swing was big in that moment.
For Hakeem, 7 assists today, almost as many as Northwestern as a team. What do you like about being a facilitator out there for these guys?
Overall, I just love playing with this team. It's a lot of guys that could score the ball and facilitate themselves. But just like when I see double team, I'm definitely going to get off, and I know guys going to knock down shots or slash and drive to the basket. So
For all you guys being so dominant at home, from here on out now, you guys are going to be on the road, whether it's the last 2 games of the Big Ten regular season schedule, the Big Ten tournament, down the road in the NCAA tournament. Just what do you guys have to do to translate what you guys do here onto the road?
We have to bring the same energy. We have to have that urgency that we have at home, the defensive intensity, and really just embrace, it's going to go up and down. We're not going to have the crowd with us, so just being able to fight through it with each other. And just knowing that it's us versus everybody, and we're just really just trying to prove people wrong, and really just that extra motivation, that extra push, I feel like that will put us over the hump on the road.
For the other 2 that didn't answer, from the beginning of the season to now, what has changed? What has kind of been the improvement biggest for you guys from the start of the season to now?
I would say that we really starting to figure out everything that Willard has been trying to implement, that we're really good at that style of basketball and what we could do together when we just had the right attitude and we go out there and play hard. It's really the sky's the limit. So I think that's the most exciting thing for this group. And, when all 5 of those stars are playing good at one time, it's kind of scary for the other team. So really just riding that wave, sticking to what works, strengthening what doesn't, what we're not so good at as well.
Jameer, obviously you play primarily on the ball as a point guard, but how much of a relief is it when you have guys like Hakeem, even Jahari Long, so you can play some off the ball and they can assume some of those point guard responsibilities?
Yeah, it's huge for us. They're great decision makers also, and they're very good in ball screen situations. So you know, we trust each other. You know, I played a little bit off the ball at Charlotte as well, so just trying to just balance it out. And you know, Keem, you know, 7 assists is incredible. So I feel like when he has the ball in his hands, every good things happen as well. So it's good for us to be able to be on and off the ball.
Don, you kind of mentioned everyone kind of getting acclimated to Willard's system, and those turnover numbers have really gone down over the season from the team as a whole. Is that something that you think's contributed heavily to that, while also notching a season high as a team in assists today?
Yeah, definitely turnovers. That's kind of been our problem on the road. So we had to take that next leap as well to do the same thing on the road to contribute to winning. But definitely been an emphasis for us. You know, less turnovers, more possessions for us, more chances to score the ball. So that's definitely a focal point of our offense.
This question's for Hakeem. Just what has it been like playing with the two guys next to you, and how has the culture changed this year?
I mean, like ever since they got here, like in the summer when he's been working out, it's just I already knew what it was. It was gonna be just pretty much fun playing with them because they could hit shots and facilitate for others, so to make it easier for everybody on the team. I mean, that's all I got. So I knew it was gonna translate to the games pretty much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just credit Maryland today. They beat us. I mean, I thought our guys came into the game. We were really excited about the game. We knew it was going to be a high-level NCAA type game with two teams that have been playing really well. You play a team that's 9-0 at home in the league, so you know what you're going to be up against. I've certainly been in here many years and know how hard it is to play in this building. And give them credit. I thought they did a good job. For 20 minutes, I thought we played pretty well. The defense, they were scoring. They were shooting the ball lights out. I mean, 14 threes. You got to tip your cap. Some of them were breakdowns of us, but a lot of them were late clock guys just stepping up, making a shot, or end of half. Two guys on Jameer, he just hits a step back, or Martinez making 3 threes, which really isn't the strength of his game. He's a good player, but, banging 3 threes, he banked one in. So, you got to tip your cap to those guys for their shot making. They have a good team. They're difficult to guard. Jameer's really good, but also what Dante and Hakeem can do. They're big wings that can handle the ball and back you down and post and good passers. So they present a lot of problems. Julian Reese is playing great, double-double. So they deserve to win. They outplayed us in the second half. We couldn't keep up with the scoring. It was kind of back and forth in the first half. Both teams were scoring 41-39, and then they were able to get the stops in the second half. We went cold. Credit them for a lot of it. And then when we did get looks, we weren't able, to kind of stem the tide by making some shots. I think we had 3 or 4 that were I thought in and out. We're halfway down, and that happens. It's basketball. So Kevin's doing a great job. They got a heck of a team. It was it was a good win for them, and for us, it's this league is hard. It's you play good teams. We're not down in any way. We're still excited. We got a big week coming up again, and you just got to learn from these games and go home and try to make it right when you get another opportunity to play.
What did Maryland do that was so effective on Boo tonight?
Well, I think what they do is, the way they play defense, it makes it very hard for you to run your plays. With the matchup zone, with the pressure. It's one of those teams where you have to make plays. You got to find the open areas. It's really hard for you to run a lot of sets against them because of the way they switch and zone and man, and they match up. They do a good job of so you can't. If you're worried about what they're in, they can really paralyze you, but they have good quickness. They have good size. I thought they were making him be a passer, and Boo had 7 assists at half. I actually credited him. I thought he was playing right. He was getting into the paint, and they were making him pass, and he had 7 assists. Second half, I thought we got a little bit stagnant. The ball stuck a little bit more, And it was obvious like they were going to try to take him away. And when that happens, Chase had his moments where he stepped up and kind of held the offense. But that's where our supporting cast has to continue to, when they get those looks, whether it's Robbie Barron, Ty Berry, Brooks Barnheiser, the big guys, they got to do a good job. But credit their defense. I thought they were swarming. They keep that constant pressure on you all that game long to get into your legs a little bit, and then they scatter the game. They make you make plays, and we didn't do the job we needed to be able to keep up.
Chris, what do you make of the traffic jam towards the top of the league this year, and how exciting is it to be a part of it and playing such meaningful games here in late February, early March?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I just think there's so many good teams, and so many great atmospheres. Everywhere you go when you play on the road, it's incredibly difficult to win. We feel fortunate. We have 5 road wins, which is pretty amazing considering all the good teams in this league. It doesn't matter who you play, where you play them. You got to be ready to go. You got to play at a really high level. Like I thought, we feel good about who we are. We're a good team. We feel like we belong. We feel we can compete. But we got beat today, by a team that played better, and had, just got to the balls quicker, made 14 of 22 threes. And I told our guys, we've just had a stretch of about 6 or 7 in a row where every single one of those teams are going to play in the NCAA tournament. And so this has got to hopefully, make you better as long as you allow, everybody's going to lose a little bit. The best team in the league who's winning the league has lost 4 of their last 5. So, it shows the strength of this league, that everybody's good. You're going to see a lot of teams in the tournament, which is awesome. And the 20-game season, I was telling Kevin before, he's kind of going through it for the first time, and he's doing it beautifully. He's done a remarkable job with his team. But you see when you go through this 20-game Big Ten season, man, it's a grind because all these teams are good. You play in every third day. You got to be ready to go. Great coaches, great players, great atmospheres. And for us, it's just exciting. It's been a few years since we've been in that mix. We've kind of been trying to play for pride, at the end of the season and get a few wins for us to be an NCAA Bowl tournament team, to be still tied for second place. After 18 games, if you would have said to me before the year you're going to be tied for second, probably would have signed up for it. Now, it didn't feel so good today getting beat, but we got to go home and try to make it right on the next one.
Coach, you mentioned the three-point shooting, and some of your team's tougher losses this year, the teams have really shot well from beyond the arc. What sorts of adjustments do you think you guys need to make sure this doesn't happen again down the stretch?
Yeah, to your point, I think some of them were some breakdowns where we lost guys. I would venture to say maybe 6 or 7 of those 14, it was just really good shot making. Like I said, the 3 at the end, I don't know what you do, the 3 at the end of the half. We had 2 guys on Jameer. He hits a step-back 27-footer. Ian Martinez banks in a 3 at the end of the shot clock. Carey, hit some big shots late in clocks. So, yeah, we've been very aggressive in terms of the post-ups. I give them credit. I thought they moved the ball well. For us, we've been a team that's turned people over. And for those guys who only have 7 turnovers, it's a credit to how they took care of the ball and got out of the traps and found the right guys. And then still, at the end of the day, you got to make the shot. And, give those guys credit. Carey Martinez combined for 7 of 10 from 3. You look at the number, and that's not to knock them. They're really good players. But that hasn't really been what they've done. So sometimes you got to tip your cap to shot making and a good team that beat you today. And we got to watch the film and hopefully try to do a better job because we play Penn State next, and that's what they do. They're a great three-point shooting team, so we're going to have to be better on that end.
Coach, you mentioned atmosphere a few times. Can you compare today's type of game where you came in with a lot on the line to your former trips here in the ACC days?
Yeah, no, it's I've always had great respect. Obviously being a part of Duke for 17 years. 4 as a player. I'm old enough where I played in Cole. So it's always been a special place to play. I love the game. So this environment is special to me. I think it's one of the better atmospheres you play in. It's got a great fan base. Their students are into the game. They get after the opposing team. To me, it's fun. I've always really enjoyed that. And for us, we haven't been good enough the last couple of years probably to kind of warrant, that kind of spirited crowd. But, I think for the way the crowd, they knew this was a high-level game. They knew there was a lot on the line for both teams here late in the season. It was loud. They were getting after it, and I've always enjoyed playing here. You know, it's a hard place to play, but I love playing in tough venues, and this one ranks up there. You know, it's right up there with the best I've been in, you know, and through my years.
And Coach, you talked about how good of a job defensively Maryland did on Bowie. What was Maryland doing right, in your opinion, in the second half on Audiche, who only had 2 points?
Yeah, I just thought with both of our guards, I thought there was just a heavy awareness, you know, on those guys when they tried to drive. They didn't have a whole lot of space. You know, they switch well. They kind of compact in their little matchup zone they play, and they were forcing those guys to be passers. You know, I mean that was obvious when they did get into the teeth of the defense. They were really overplaying and making those guys be passers, and we didn't do a good enough job. In the first half, we did. You know, we made some shots. Some other guys, our big Matt, I think, had 4 or 5 baskets in the first half on rolls. You know, we were moving the ball pretty well, and then I thought the second half, maybe as our legs got a little bit tired, as we weren't as sharp, you know, they just did a really good job making those guys give the ball up. And like I said, we got to play right. If that's going to be the case, the ball's got to find the other guys, and we have belief that those other guys can make people pay. We just didn't do it. You know, in the second half, we're 1 for 9 from 3. You know, in the second half, a lot of those were open. You know, and some of those were in and out. And that's basketball, though. You know, sometimes you don't shoot the ball as well, and we got to be better in those areas because good teams are going to try to take our guards away. I mean, they're good players. You know, coaches know what they're doing in this league, and if they're going to do that, we got to be ready to have other guys make them pay. Yeah, I just tried to really focus on their home games because that's who we were going to face. You know, not getting a chance to see them in Welsh Ryan. I know they've looking at the numbers and their splits, and I can't explain it because I think they're really good. But obviously, they feed off the energy of this crowd. You know, the press is a little bit more effective at home. You know, I think with their activity, their shooting. I mean, of course, 14 of 22 from 3. So there's a lot of teams like that where, you know, you hope to. But also the other thing is it's hard to win on the road in this league. I mean, it's, you know, no one's like just sweeping through the league and winning every game because it's really hard to go into these atmospheres and win. But they have great energy. They feed off their crowd. They have a good scheme. You know, they play kind of a different style than pretty much everybody else in our conference. So, you know, you have to really take time to prepare for their pressure, prepare for their zone, prepare for the mixing and matching of defenses. So it's a little bit tougher prep because I think they have a different style, and they've found that, and they've done a really good job in kind of creating their own identity with how they play.
Coach, I'm old enough to watch when you played, and you always played hard, you coach hard. That's just a comment.
Thank you.
And I always appreciated it. The question is, your 2 guards between you were 2 for 17. I can't imagine that happens very often.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hopefully it's a one-off, you know, where that's not going to happen because we won't win very much, you know, if that's the case. What we do have to do, though, is we have been a team that has found a way to win when we maybe haven't shot it as well. And, you know, we didn't give ourselves a chance by giving up 75 points today. I mean, 41 in the first half, too much. Thought our energy got a little bit better in the second half. But, again, 75 on the road, that's not going to be a recipe for us to win. But to your point, we just got to, you know, we got to make sure we're doing things right, we're playing right. The other team has a lot to do with that. You know, I'm always one of these guys. I'm not big on when coaches will come in here and talk about all the things they didn't do well. You know, a lot of it had to do with Maryland. They just beat us today. You know, they are a good team, and they did a lot of good things. They made shots. They defended us well. They were physical. So a lot of it had to do with them. And then we'll look at the film and see, you know, the areas where we did have our breakdowns or areas maybe we could have attacked better as we move forward. But, you know, I think the story of this game was how well Maryland played because they were better than us today, and they deserved to win. All right, guys. Thank you, guys.